Look at that.
Oh, there's a UFO behind us. A square UFO. Hello, you guys. Whoa. I used to love that show. Twilight Zone.
X-Files.
Oh, sorry. I mean, X-Files. Yeah. I love the show.
I used to love that show, X-Files. Ever watch it? No.
Yeah, okay. Welcome, you guys, to another exciting episode of Feel It Real Fun.
You know, some people live
on
with logic
our
like that.
11th of December 2020. Right. There is exactly 14 days, 2 weeks to Christmas.
I don't like the guy, but I've never seen him. Yo, look at all the cool people, Triple D people.
And it's
MM
your
people.
questions answered live.
Sonia, Ilana.
Cool.
Boom. Oh my God, guys. This is going to be the best show ever. I'll tell you what.
Yes.
Who here thinks Scully was hot?
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I would have drunk her bathwater. That's all I got to say.
Drunk her bathwater.
I would have drunk her bathwater. That's right.
Right.
So, guys.
Yeah.
So, yo, the Big OZ, we got one of your cues today.
Oh, have we?
Right.
Hello, Big OZ. So, go to freeneville.com.
That's right. 221 email pseudo random. Oh, yeah.
Join our 90-day adventure at manifestingmasterycourse.com.
That's
You all
right.
know half a donut, cheapest cup of coffee. And for refunds, visit our YouTube channel. FeelItRealFun.com.
Oh, yeah, baby.
Alright, Emma, you go. Dig.
All right, so since all the cool kids are here except for one,
including Tony.
and Triple D Tony Doyle. That's right.
Yes.
Look, I got my Reddington hat on today.
He has.
Now, if you watch real slow when you're watching this show, we're going to shrink down after a while. It's so much fun. So I adjusted it today so that we don't look like midgets at the end of the show. Because it doesn't matter if the top of my head gets cut off for a little while.
No, because it will be down.
That's
under,
right.
Down under the rung.
Whoa, Triple D Joe Weldon.
And Dark Mockery 007. All right. So everyone knows. Oh, and for refunds, visit our YouTube channel.
FeelItRealFun.com. That's right.
That's right.
Okay. Yo.
So, well, we're just going to dive right in.
Let's just dive right in.
Looks like we've got a few questions here.
Yep, a couple
hey,
of good.
Tommy, you did a good job. You were an obedient for a change, right?
Because he was like.
I don't know if he's even here, but
yeah, he's here. He's obedient.
Oh, all right.
He's on time as well. He's punctual and obedient.
Punctual
you have
and
to put that
obedient.
on your dating profile, right? Triple D Tommy, punctual and obedient.
Okay. Right.
Triple D, Kathy.
Now we will start.
That's right.
We have a pause. Dramatic pause, as Yasmin said it.
Someone said it.
DDD Kathy. Dream-driven day Kathy asks. Dream-driven day Kathy. Manifesting great reviews.
That's right.
Kathy asks, hi 20. When building my website recently, I personally asked customers for reviews. I got about 5 in 20. Then,
damn. Feel better now.
Sneezing or 5 in 20?
Yes.
Then in putting my business on Google, I sent a link to review my business and got even less response. I give the best of myself in what I do. In 7 years, still have the same clients and have never cancelled, always leaving them and their home better than when I arrived.
See, if I had a cleaning company, their home would be different when I left. Right? Just saying.
Yes. I've done sessions on getting rave reviews. I've done the not caring and knowing it doesn't matter. But now I'm starting to feel underappreciated again. Thanks for your help. So when I first read this email yesterday, Kath, I just said, I wish you lived in Melbourne.
True dat.
It's true dat. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
I thought she was talking to me. I do live here. Do you remember? Hello.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Cool. So, you know, it's funny when it comes to business and reviews and stuff like that. Generally, this is what I notice. I'm going to talk non-Neville for 1 minute. It's something different, something that people aren't used to doing. So I'll get to it and they don't, right?
Well, it's also that magic time. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
It's beginning to look a lot
you're
like
asking
Christmas.
the customer to invest some time and we all know from the club, the new club, how we're looking at time and how it can just feel like, well, for me, I know I get asked to do surveys and all that sort of things from different companies, and it's just like, and sometimes I'll be really good and obedient and I'll do them and I'll answer every question.
She's obedient.
And sometimes I'll answer the first 3 and it's just like,
can't be
how many
bothered.
more are there? Like, you're wasting my time. So, sorry, but that's how I feel about it.
No, it's funny because if you're doing something you're familiar with doing, right? Check this out. So I'm used to whatever the fuck I do, right? I can do an hour of that and it feels like 10 minutes. But man, you ask me to do something that takes a minute that I'm not used to, the perception gets really fucking warped, right? So here's where I'll begin. Manifesting Mastery Course Lesson 1, the girls giggled.
Yeah.
Right? Them not reviewing you doesn't mean what you think it means. So you really get to notice, like, right, when is the first time I felt unappreciated in life, right? And you go back and you revise that. Then you go, when was the last time? Well, when Mr. 20 skipped answering my question on the show, I felt unappreciated then too, asshole. Right? And then suddenly, we've done it, right?
Yes.
Because, like, even though we skipped it the last time, but we're doing it this time because time doesn't matter. But that doesn't matter, does it? So here's the big thing. Really nail that whole thing with, you know what? Where do you feel unappreciated in life? Better yet, when? Right? Just when does that show up?
Yeah, I
Quash
think,
that sucker.
for sure. Like, if it's happening here and you're feeling it's going to happen
Elsewhere
in your life.
See, for me, everything is either a bridge or an end, or it's a gift that I've given myself that I don't recognize. So if you're imagining a new level of income, a new level of life, something like that, this will be a part that's probably haunting you. And you've given yourself the gift to notice it now, so you can take care of it, and so on and so forth. But we're going to weave this in magically with some of the other ones too.
Because Twin loves doing that, and he's
acing
it.
Look at Emmett go.
Is
Go,
he?
Emmett, go. Go. Oh, yeah. Bruce is
Daily occurrence.
Look at him.
Cool. Excellent.
Can't watch the show because they're always humping.
Okay, Kathy. Okay, Kathy, thanks for your
This
question.
is the absolute best camera angle for this.
And now Bruce is like in revolt. Get off me! Quit doing that on my back.
That's right.
And then sometimes Hermit goes around to the front. Just like,
on his
he
head.
has no idea. All right.
That's right.
Excellent.
Not saying a word.
The next question's from Liz. Going to the end.
Oh.
Liz asks, when we say go to the end, what does that mean? End of the imaginal act or scene, or end of the wish fulfilled?
So the true end's always, what do you really want, right? You'll notice time and time again in the groups and elsewhere, I'm always answering questions like, by the way, the previous one sort of nails this too. What's the end? The end is really feeling appreciated. The end could be a specific business level. The end is never the endorsements, right? And by the way, always, feel free to personally ask. I notice all the time people send me things and I'll say, hey, would you like me to share this? Could I share this? It would bless a lot of people. And it's just that little tiny bit because they get that I appreciate them sending it to me, right? And, so on and so forth. So what's the real end? That's something to always notice. What is my actual real end here? It's never the lottery win. It's usually not even the money. Right? It's what would you do if you created a specific level of wealth in your life? Imagine that, right? And what happens to have that happen is always just quite the adventure. So let's watch how this weaves into the next one.
Sweet.
Or the one after that, perhaps.
Okay. So thank you,
Thanks, Liz.
for your question.
I believe it's Triple D Liz, by the way. I didn't put it in the notes.
Oh, Triple D Liz.
Triple D Liz, yo.
Thank you for your question. The next question's from Triple D Tomi. Nailing it.
So I've woven your two questions together because I can't.
Nailing it and being done. Going to the absolute end.
In a way, these two questions answer each other. That's why I've just woven them together like that. But let's continue.
Okay, so Tommy asks, So 20, I have problems of making things hard when it comes to nailing one wish at a time. I put it in my head, I need to keep going back and nail again and again because I'd feel like I haven't nailed. Then I fall into a loop and poke many holes in seed. How to stop this trust my imagination more and just nail it and leave. How do I get through all the middles and find my true end and stay there?
I'd bet dating you's a hoot.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining.
I can imagine.
So if you did this in the world of content, right?
Yeah.
So you'd have, let's say, dinner, a show, and sex afterwards. But if they're all getting mixed together all the time,
Sex first,
it's
a little bit of sex, then dinner,
yeah,
then.
See, I'm a big fan of nailing Victoria's yum, nailing Victoria's yum, and nailing Victoria's yum. I mean, they're all three separate yums, right?
Yes.
As far as I can tell.
Yes.
Right? Especially if you're going out for dinner.
No one laughed. I don't think they got the joke.
Yeah, they'll catch up. Right?
Yeah. All right.
Right. So here's the cool thing. You are in the habit of nailing individual things. Just notice it. Shine that little flashlight around some different places, and just notice.
I do it there. I really get like Tommy could be thinking, all right, I always nail it there in this sort of.
Yeah, I'm nailing dinner. I'm nailing the show.
I'm nailing
I'm not nailing chitty chitty bang bang. Right. So
yeah.
But they're all separate wishes. Right, and so you get to notice, like, you can have a sequence of ends, right? Loving husband, loving teacher, loving puppy dad, loving teacher. We'll imagine up the great show, imagine up the great podcast, imagine up great emails. Can I share that kind of thing? So, I think the big thing, that fucking noise.
It's 20's fun.
Yeah, got to turn that off.
Yes.
So I think the big thing is just really coming down to, I wonder if you feel you're separate from your imagination. Because there's something in the wording there that sort of leads me to believe that might be the case. Because your awareness of being as God, how you are aware of being determines everything. And just really getting, and this comes from, there's so many people that write crazy things about the subconscious, the unconscious, the ego, the id. And all I know is, look, how am I aware of being right now? Right now I'm reasonably aware of being a loving teacher, minorly aware of being a loving son, because that would have been my mom poking me back. So it's just that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, interesting also. I totally get this. Stop trusting my imagination, especially if there is this feeling of being separate from it. But also how he's in his head, he feels he needs to keep going back and nail again and again. And I'm wondering, maybe you don't. Maybe there is, although you do know, I reckon you do know when you've nailed something. So I don't know.
Trust my imagination versus trust me. Trusting your imagination is a middle. Your question was about middles. You got it? Trusting your imagination is a middle because it feels like it's separate to me. But your faith in God is measured by your confidence in yourself. Man's faith in God is measured by his confidence in himself. I love the revelation. This is why when people paraphrase Neville, I tend to go, "Oh, what the fuck was that?" And I'll say, "Hey, where'd you get the quote?" Yeah, I said to my buddy Richard one day, "Richard, where'd you get the quote?" He goes, "Well, I changed it." And I says, "I know." Right? Don't change it, right?
Yeah.
Neville spoke from a state, right? Man's faith in God is measured by his confidence in himself. Your faith in God is measured by your confidence in yourself, not confidence in your impressions of the subconscious. Here, you get it?
Yeah.
We're just getting right to the end. What's the end? Your awareness of being as God. How are you aware of being? Just nail that. I suspect identity has something to do here too, but more on that later.
More.
Yes.
Cool.
I love saying that.
You do.
I do. Yo. All right. Don't touch it.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry?
Talking to him.
Oh. Okay, excellent. So, thank you, Tommy,
That's right.
for your question.
And 20 for your answers.
And thank you so much, 20, for your answers.
That's right. Cool. Next.
The next question's from Dream Driven Day, Sizzle.
Yep. So we're cut to the end here because you nailed it at the end. So I'm not even going to bring the question the whole way in.
Okay.
But let us continue.
So, letting it be all about me. And Sizzle states, I noticed I was holding my breath while doing my morning session.
Coolio. Now, first, I just want to call out Joelle's here. She did something wonderful in the group the other day. Y'all can go read about it. But I just want to let you know how much that touched me. Okay? Just, since I saw you scroll through. So, way coolio. Nice. So, Sizzle comes from a religious background, like all of us do, right? And there's something about this whole thing about when, in the effort of letting it be all about you. See, the best way for me to serve is to take care of me first. When I did scuba diving, there's the whole thing about when you're in the aircraft and the mask comes down, you put your mask on first.
You do yours first, yes.
Right? In scuba, it's a little more fucking important, right? Because I got to tell you, whenever you're underwater...
Your last breath. Your last breath is your last breath, right?
Yes. And so, it's like, oh, Victoria needs some air. Let me just give her mine real quick. Now, let's establish communication. Look at me, right?
Yes.
Right. We have to establish communication and then work on things. But it's really fascinating because coming from a religious background, most religious backgrounds tend to always go into sacrifice.
Yeah.
Right? And if I'm under the water and I notice Victoria runs out of air and she's doing the old tap tap, fucked signals, right? Right?
Give me some, yes.
Yeah. And I don't remember all the scuba signals. It's been a while.
Yeah.
But the thing I got to do is make sure, right? I've got to take care of me first, right? You have to take care of you in order to serve. On the other hand, sacrifice, that sounds like fun.
Like, here you go.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What do they even call those? Anyway, can't remember.
Yeah, the regulator.
Regulator,
yep.
Yeah.
So I love that you noticed that you were holding your breath. Because is there anything more intimate than sharing a breath with someone? Right? So you noticed that, you dropped it, you let your breath come and go. This is big. So instead of giving you much of a head answer, I'm just going to invite you to explore who you get to be without holding your breath, without feeling any need to sacrifice sizzle to give. Because this whole thing of really getting some distinctions around sacrifice versus service, again, the better I take care of me, the more I can give to her. She just ordered, oh my God, she talked to Raymond, and Raymond told her this should cost like $1 per thing. And she found it at $3 per thing. And she's like, what do you think? And I said, I think that's a deal because you don't have any hassle, right? So you pay triple what Raymond thought it might be, right? I don't care.
No, Raymond didn't think it was that. I thought it was that. But that's fine.
All right, cool. But it's cool because at the end of the day, it's like, I want her to take care of her so she can do her projects versus sacrifice her so she can get her project. Kinda, maybe. Heading and right? Going back to Tommy, go to the end. What's the end? I be happy for you. Let it always be about you. So, don't let this week into the evidence. So, thank you, Sizzle.
Thank you, Sizzle, for your question.
Boom.
The next question is from Dream Driven Day Tommy. Bruce Lee's 1-inch punch. Tommy asks, it's a bonus fun question. How did you learn the 1-inch punch by Bruce Lee? You mentioned it in the anxiety pack.
Cool. The 1-inch punch by Bruce Lee is actually some very old internal martial arts stuff from all three internal arts, pretty much. But what's really cool with that, and the reason why I let it show up on the show, was not just because it's fun, because it's the whole idea of good internal kung fu is you're not too flaccid and you're not too stiff, but there's a state in the middle. And that state in the middle just starts to involve more and more of the body so that you're able to generate, boom, power with a wave, right? And so there's this whole thing with feeling it real. If you're too tense, you're up in beta all the time, and you're checking, yeah, have I nailed it or not, something like that. Oh my God, well, estoy. Well, that really doesn't, a sip of coffee could mean anything. See, too tense, has you punching like a yellow belt, not real good. On the other hand, too relaxed just has you like sort of, but the nice thing about being drunk is, right, you ever notice like drunks when they crash cars or get into bar fights, they really don't get hurt, right? They sort of just like flop all over the place, get some bruises, and they go away. But they also don't get anywhere in life, right? They can't issue the power. But on the other hand, bang, if you've got the right kind of tension in the body, not too loose, not too tight, then then the wave moves through the body, right? And it's exactly what this is about. Okay, Neville says you want to be in that state akin to sleep when you imagine what you want, but you don't let it become like a over time people in the club kind of experience. Like that doesn't do a damn thing. So, club people, right? Take note. Boom. All right, so how's that?
And you learned it. What was the internal kung fu? Was it or jiu-jitsu? What did you learn?
The internal kung fu, tai chi, and mostly tai chi and some Xing and some Bagua, all three.
Right.
But it's all about getting that body alignment right with just the amount of tension needed to hold it, not to like that. So
cool, excellent.
Those dogs.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Tommy, for your question.
Dark Mockery says, someone in the club, take notes for me. Cool. So now you just, end of line.
Okay, the next question's from the Big Oz.
The Big OZO.
Buns or bakery?
Oh.
Oz asks, hi 20. Oz asks, hi 20, what's best, having a few buns in the oven or having enough buns in to start a bakery?
So since you are the owner of a boundless force of endless bakeries, like seriously, I am constantly putting buns in the oven. And they can be for total strangers, they can be for her, for me. We were just having the chat this morning about the wood parts that she just found. And I told her, I says, look, I don't always understand what you guys are doing. I understand some, I understand what, sometimes I understand somewhat. Right? But at the end of the day, sometimes I ask questions, sometimes I go, I'm still not getting it. I'll just smile, right?
You can just watch.
But I can just watch, right? It's wonderful.
I got it.
But at the end of the day, I'm imagining her happy, right? She found the perfect product. It saves a lot of time. It's delivered. It's a couple bucks more than she anticipated. And you know who cares? Not me, right? I care about one thing. She be happy, right? So when it comes to like that, right? That's an instant. While Victoria's talking, right? I just slip a little bit into the state akin to sleep. I might look like I'm bored, but I'm not. Right? Just to be clear. Right? But I just relax a little bit. I just go,
Yeah.
And I just experience her happy while she's talking. And then she says,
Look at me. Look at me.
So, anyway.
Well, I'll tell you the story.
Some days it's a little lupo. I mean loopy. So, anyway.
Okay.
So it's that thing. So, see. All right.
Cool. Excellent. Right. So thank you, Oz, or Big Oz.
The Big OZO.
Yeah.
That's right. Attitude.
The next question is from Dream Driven Dave.
See, I copped the attitude for the Big OZ. There they go.
And they've picked up on it.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
The next question's from Dream Driven Dave Jake.
Yo.
Arresting on activity.
Arresting an activity, yes.
Oh, an activity.
Yes.
Jake asks, can you talk a bit about the process of arresting activity without making it a meditation activity or war on content?
All right, so this goes back to, what was it, yesterday's show?
I was just going to say, yesterday's show.
What was the name of it, do you know?
Oh, that was the one where, about if things don't change before
Christmas is going to really blow.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
But I do remember that because I remember that when you arrest the activity, the state is dead. Well, There was something about that.
Yep.
In it.
So let's say the vine is growing out of control.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's like, and so you're doing this whole thing of like, this is like over time it'll grow everywhere. Like you never know like what all's going on. Like wow. I mean, you just look and you see nuclear bomb city after nuclear bomb city. I mean, it's all fuzzy and shit.
I do that sometimes
like,
when I watch the ivy up the bank.
But it's like, see, this is real.
Yeah.
This is very real. Right.
Yeah.
Alessandra asked me about this. This is really real, right? It's not a metaphor, and yet it is, right? So it's like, and then, oh my God, there's a city that wasn't nuked full of zombies in the apocalypse. They've got the loogie, the dripping, right? And so like, this is the kind of, what was the question?
About arresting action.
And so like all of a sudden like the day's over and I don't even like did I have a desire in the middle of all that? I really don't even know.
Any activity?
Right. So
Yes.
here so when you arrest the movement, right? Stop and be still. Right? Boom. Stop and be still. Right? Now here's the cool thing. Ready? So people tell me, they say like, oh, I hear all day long is my mom. Just she's in my head saying bad things like you suck, you suck, you suck. So I say, okay, this is cool. So what I want you to do is instead of hearing your mom's voice, I want you to hear Bill Clinton's voice. You suck, Monica. You suck.
Or Mickey Mouse
suck.
or whatever it was.
Right. You suck, Monica. So it's like, all right. So you don't have to change the content of what's going on in there. I mean, you can make it Mickey Mouse or Monica. I mean, But here's the fun thing, right? You are arresting that activity when you change it. I'm a real big fan of stillness, but you're the stillness that notices everything. Being the stillness that notices everything, you can change the waves in the ocean at any time. So you can change the content of it. You can try to imagine mom saying, I'm so proud of you because you're the best daughter I've ever had, end of line. Right? But if that doesn't feel real, right, then you go, right, I'll just have Bill Clinton put me down. Oh, you really suck. Right? How can you let that upset you? You know what I mean? So the whole thing, it sort of begins with this whole thing instead of like, let's say, an on and off switch. Let's say, what's that called? Digital, right? 0 or 1. Okay, time is, time isn't. You can play with some things like changing who's speaking in your head, right? Let it be Bill Clinton. What the hell? You know, seriously, I'm going down the road and somebody cuts me off and inside of my head, I just go, no, you're a whistle dick. Right? I mean, it really keeps me out of trouble. Otherwise, I just go like, right? Yeah, Tony Soprano shows up and then I got to deal with people, right? So it's like Bill Clinton, easy as pie, right? So if you want to play with some of what's going on in there again, on and off is fun. I mean, you can just enter into silence. You are the silence anytime. Okay, stillness, you are the stillness that all the apparent motion happens within. I can promise you that. But meanwhile, you can play with the content. Again, you can imagine mom being nice to you instead of mom being a dick in your head. Or you can make it all Bill Clinton.
Dick.
Right?
Yeah.
So.
You're right there, Brucey boy.
Someone out there's going to go, he didn't answer the question. I'm going to say I answered it like 3 different ways. But...
End of line.
End of line.
Okay.
All right.
Excellent.
Boom.
Okay, so thank you, Jake, for your
Look
question.
at Bruce. You're a hoot.
Oh, look at him.
Look at his smile.
He puts his little leg over my arm.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Try and get him
What are you
to
doing,
tickle his belly. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boom.
And the last question's today from Anders on Facebook. Since money is mostly digital,
Boom.
Anders asks,
By the way, this is a really good question. If I had to vote on my favorite question today, it would be all of them. But this one's a really good one too.
Anders asks, I never know, sorry, I'm a bit squished in, let me just get all that right. I never know if I should imagine money as numbers on a paper, because money is mostly digital today, or if I should imagine it as physical and tangible. Any ideas or insights?
Oh my God. Here he comes. All right. So I entered the state of loving puppy dad and I started getting kisses. Yeah, I'm a happy loving
Look at he's got his paw up on your
He's got
shoulder.
his paw up on me, right? It's the Dad and Bruce show. So don't make it about the money. Making it about the money is sort of making it about the special person of the lottery win or something like that, or my imagination plus subconscious.
Yeah.
The more you can bring this home, the easier it gets, right? You ever open up a jar of peanut butter, Anders? Right? not peanut butter Anders. But
And have you ever opened up a jar of peanut butter? Yes. All that light shining in through the window. Right, good.
Get my head in the right position.
Yeah.
So here's how I find. So if you got a brand new jar of peanut butter, right? So you go to the shops, right? So we go to the shops and we buy some butter. We bring some butter home. Turns out some of the butter's got mold on it. So we take the butter back.
Brand new butter.
Right? And so then we go back, and while we're at the butter station, right? Yeah, basically we're opening the butter.
Well, I am checking it because I'm not buying them all like that.
Yeah, because we're not taking them home and then going to unwrap them again and find out that they're moldy, right? So I decided to generalize everything, and I go, fuck, man, I'm going to open up everything before I buy it, make sure it's safe, right? It works great for dating, by the way. So I go to the store.
Yes.
And I get the newest jar of peanut butter off the shelf, and I hold it as far away from me as possible, and I grab it with the other hand, and I try to twist the lid off. And if anybody has ever tried that, when you try to open up a jar of peanut butter at arm's length, it's often really hard. And so do I hold it this way, like it's like paper, or this way, like it's digital? Like there are two options that don't matter. But if you bring it in close to your body, you could just like Hans and Franz it, ram and cram dating coach, right?
Yeah.
You're close to your body, it's easy to open that. Versus here, just a little bit involved, right? Now, why would I say all this? As long as you make it about the money, it's like analog or digital. Well, the U.S. dollar versus the euro. The U.S. dollar is more taxable. Yeah, so it's Cayman Islands. Like I once had a Cayman Islands account made with German marks, right? And which I just thought was fun. I managed to find myself in the Caymans, and I set up a German mark account. I mean, it was the 80s, you know what I mean? So when you bring it close to you, it's easy, right? Always bring it home. Okay, being someone who creates wealth, being someone who has an income that slopes upward, not incrementally, right? When we're talking scaling, being someone, you find, what's your wish today? How can you best experience it? I really love telling people, here's what I want you to do, Anders. I want you to imagine doubling your income and working half the time. How would you buy peanut butter differently? Right? Find that event in your life that implies that you make the amount of money that you want. Don't make it about numbers. I find people have the hardest time imagining numbers, right? I find people have a very easy time imagining experiences because who you are has experiences. Who you are isn't a number unless you're me. And I just fucked the whole thing up by changing my name to a number, but that's another story. Twice. Right. So,
yes.
Long story short, analog digital doesn't matter. I'm going to suggest, by the way, that you play the attitude money game. Right? I give that a search at feelitrealfun.com. If you can't find it, email me. I'll send you a link. It's in the prosperity pack, but we've got a few good videos on it as well. Because whenever you start with like $100 cash, physical, and you stick it in your wallet and you keep it with you all the time, it is not your emergency stash. It's not your secret stash. It's your attitude money. You open up your wallet, you can see it there.
It's always there.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you double it up to 200, double it up to 400, double it up to 800, double it up to 1,000. Yeah, that's right, I'm not good at math. But you get it up to like 10 grand or something, and you end up walking around with 2 biker wallets, which was a good fun year at the dog park. Something happens because you get to notice all the weird shit you have about money in you. Right? Do you imagine people stealing it? Do you imagine losing it? Do you imagine, like, I could just go apeshit and buy a car? Did that, right? Yeah, you can have some fun with this. But I want you to experience yourself as someone with wealth and what happens to you when you have wealth. So first, going back to the original question, let it be about you, not about the money at all. If you doubled your income and worked half the time, how would you buy petrol? Right? I never know what it costs. My buddy Cube knows what it costs on a day-to-day, station-to-station basis.
Yes.
Carries it in a spreadsheet, right? Love him. But me, fuck it, man.
One.
I see it gets a little low. I see Kyle's working. I pull over. I fill it up. I don't care. Because I have the Bill Clinton. Oh. Anyway. So, I think that was about it. Did we know that one?
I think you've nailed that one. Yes, right. Anders, don't make it about the money. Make it about you. That's really what it's all about.
That's how she just cuts right through the chase. She didn't talk about peanut butter or
I
moldy
didn't.
butter.
Yeah.
I just do moldy peanuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alpha toxins. Alpha toxins.
Alpha toxins.
Alpha toxins, something like that. Anyway.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's peanut butter. Like peanuts are full of toxins. Peanuts are poison.
Oh yeah, well they're meant to be really bad.
Isn't it funny? Because
when they're old, because apparently they make a lot of places like
not
commercial
the peanut butter.
type.
I guess.
No, not the never.
Good Lord.
But the commercial type brands will often make
First
it out
class
of
peanut butter, baby.
crap peanuts.
That's right.
Moldy old peanuts.
Right.
Okay, so
That was a good time to drink
that was the
heavily.
last question. So thank you, Anders, for your question. And what we want to know now is, what was your strawberry bit? Now I really I happened to look up and noticed Tommy put up a statement with loads of hearts, and I was able to read it surreptitiously.
Damn. I can't do that shit.
But I really loved it, and it must have been a quote, I'm assuming, from 20. So you must have said something like,
This will be good.
who you are has the experiences, or something like that, Tommy said.
Cool.
But I was thinking how so true. Who you are is the state you're in. Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
And it's that has the experiences. And that obviously changes all the time as you step in and out of different states. So I really love that. And also what I said at the end, like, don't make it about, like, it's all about you. Make every desire, it's all about you.
Yeah, you'll notice that we always have a consistent theme here, and we dive deep into it and subtly into it. The more you make it about you, it ain't about the money, it's about you.
Yeah.
It ain't about your, it ain't even about your imaginal act, it's about who's imagining. It's not about your imagination, you gotta trust my imagination, right? It's about you, right?
Yes.
Your awareness of being is God. And then you put on hats. Hats. Some people put on lots of hats.
Cool.
What'd you think about that?
That. It took me straight to when we were in New Zealand and how we rode on the van,
Yes.
having a lifetime of adventure, having the adventure, or whichever one comes first, a lifetime of adventure and the adventure of a lifetime.
Yep.
And I loved that. Yeah, that's when I first met 20.
Oh, yeah, we went to New Zealand.
Yeah.
We lived in Sin in a van.
We did.
Oh, my God, it was
bumping
great.
around the country, North and South Islands. Yeah,
Boom.
cool.
Right.
So was that sort of your strawberry bit at the end, or
My strawberry bit, my strawberry bit was watching how, it really did come down to like all the questions about getting to your real end, which is always about the real you. And it always is. It really is. And it just cuts out the middles. So and all the questions, all you guys, boom. And just man, you guys make the show.
Well, you do. You make it a nice show.
Yeah, we're
Thank
just
you so much.
we're just the performers.
Yeah. Well, 20's the performer. I'm just the. Well, what's the girl on the side that goes? And under box 5, whoever that girl is.
She's Vanna White. Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna say no, we don't go there.
I just can't,
Okay.
I can't process. Wheel of
Fortune.
Torture.
Oh, is it torture?
Wheel of torture.
I thought it was fortune. Okay, so
All right.
that was it for today. So what we want to know is why
we did
you
that. Yeah,
type
while you-
in your strawberry bits.
That's right.
Go to freeneville.com.
That's right. 221 email list pseudo random goodness.
Join our 90-day adventure at Manifesting Mastery. Course.com.
15 to 25 minutes a day. Time is not an excuse. Right? $97 for a 90-day program. And then if you divide the 97 by the 90 and then you carry the 7, and it's like nice. It like, does it go up or it's like $1 a day? It's like half a donut. It's
Less than $1
It's
a
like
day.
really? I mean, you're gonna like waste away. You're changing a season.
More than. Sorry,
Yeah.
got it wrong.
It's a season long.
$1.10.
Right? If it's like winter right now where you're at, come spring, you're done with manifestingmastercourse.com, right? Yeah. Isn't it cool, Brucey? He goes, that's my dad.
That's my
I
dad
love seasons with
talking.
my dad. You're a good boy.
You're such a beautiful boy.
You're a beautiful boy.
And for refunds, visit our YouTube channel, feelitrealfun.com.
Yep.
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 Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Cool.
I got to shoot the 1 minute videos for today. I haven't done that yet.
I got to do my little video for the club, the new club.
Hoo-ha.
I haven't got my ass into
And you
here.
club people.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys that are in the club, somebody share this to the club and mention that they could watch this because there's a lot of good stuff in it dealing with what we exploring in the call. The
Call on Monday. Okay, have a great day, night, weekend, and we'll be back in a few days.
That's right. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Club
Love
call.
you,
Club call.
people.
Oh, look at that. I just exploded.